Good morning. I love it when Paul starts a sentence. I do not want you to be unaware, brothers. In the old King James, it says, I don't want you to be ignorant. I like those following statements then, because he's about to teach us something that we need to be aware of. And in Romans 1:13, he says this, I do not. He's been all over the Roman world. Well, not all over. Been in hundreds of villages and cities as we trace his first, second, third missionary journeys. And we call this his fourth mission, his final one. And he says, I'm looking forward. Often wanted to come to you so that I might receive some fruit. And that's really the idea that I wanted to get to this morning. What fruit is it that Paul wanted to experience? What did he want to get when he got to Rome finally and got to visit with them? What kind of fruit was he expecting? Because in the previous verses we saw where he wanted to encourage them, to impart a spiritual gift to them, and to be encouraged by them. Well, I was reading in Paul's letter to the church in Corinth, Greece, east of Italy, and he says to them, there's division among you. Some of you say I'm of Paul. Some of you say I'm of Apollos. Well, Paul did not die for you. Apollos did not die for you. Why are you calling yourselves after these men? I planted, Apollos watered, and God gave the increase. He says it's not the individual that brings you the message or teaches you more. It's Jesus. That's the important. But those who labor in the field said, you are God's field. We get to work with that. In fact, in First Corinthians chapter 3, he's addressing church there. He says, we are God's fellow workers. You are God's field, God's building. He says later on, if any man's work which he has built on remains after judgment day, he will receive a reward. And I think that's what Paul was talking about with these Roman Christians. He wanted to receive the eternal reward, fruit that is good for all eternity. I want to invest in you, encourage your faith, so that 3 or 4 thousand years from now, you walk up to me on the streets of gold and say, I just want to thank you. There are countless people that I'm planning to walk up to in heaven, say thank you. Thank you for being gracious. Thank you for being encouraging. Thank you for teaching me about Jesus. Thank you for teaching me this about his church. There's a long list of people that I'm looking forward to seeing in heaven say thank you. But Jesus is the one that we all want to see, want to receive from his hand the reward. What kind of fruit did Paul want? I'm convinced he wanted that reward. And what kind of fruit should I want? What kind of fruit should you? We want the fruit that lasts forever. Jesus said, don't lay up for yourselves treasures on where moth and rust corrupt and thieves break in and steal. Rather, lay up for yourselves treasures in. That's the fruit that Paul was hoping to gain when he finally got to visit the church in Rome. So today, we're probably not going to Rome ever. A few of us might get to. But our goal is not to visit the church in Rome. Our goal is here and now, today, plant water into the lives of the people in your home, your neighborhood, your workplace. This is a Saturday, so you might not be going to your workplace. We get to go to the church camp today, Lake James Christian Camp, and celebrate their annual meeting and listen to some of the delightful fruit that has been made available all year long. God is doing wonderful things through Lake James Christian Camp, through Lake Area Christian Church, and through your church. Get involved and labor for fruit that lasts. Tomorrow we get to celebrate a 20th anniversary. It's the 20th year since the little congregation first met around a dining room table in New Schwander Farm. And we'll mark that tomorrow. Our great celebration, though, is going to be the 20th anniversary of the public launch